Yo guys, what's going on? It's Acez here today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to get to max scav rep as quickly as possible. Do me a favor, make sure you're dropping a like on this one here today, and of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more PvE content. Let's hop into a couple super thanks shoutouts, then we will talk about scav rep. First one is going to be Macrot5419, said he's loving the series and he enjoys the vibes, but he has one ask to put all of the PvE content into one playlist, and that is exactly what I did. I made sure none of the uncut and unheard stuff was in there, and anything prior to the release of PvE is also not in there. So just like the last month or so of content that is only the PvE, like informational stuff and maybe a couple raids thrown in there, all that stuff is in that playlist and nothing else. And then we have another super thanks from Also Jesus, taking down number 3 on the current podium. Hey, love the content more than you know. 3 videos a day would be awesome, but that's a lot. Be sure to not stress yourself out over it. We don't want you getting burnt out. Love you. I appreciate that level of support, man. That is honestly insane how much you guys have been going crazy with not only those super thanks, but just leaving likes, leaving comments, and the new subscribers, and of course, the amount of you viewing the channel. Everything has been overwhelming support. And how could I get burnt out when you guys are loving the content so much? You know, I might as well go as hard as I can, not only for myself, but everybody wants the content. And there's not really a lot of people covering PvE, so I'm doing my best to at least provide you guys with something to watch instead of having nothing to watch. So let's hop into some Scav Karma talk. Now, I will say, I already kind of made a video talking about Scav Karma a little bit, but since the fence video, the best money-making guide of all time, in my opinion, I think it is the #1 moneymaker in Tarkov history, because we never had the max loyalty store for fence combined with a non-founded raid flea market. I think it's probably the best moneymaker of all time. That video did actually do pretty well, and there's a lot of people asking, how did you get to the 6+ fence reps so quickly with the lack of co-op extracts and just the lack of extra rep from killing PMCs? Because if you don't know, right now in PvE, if you kill a PMC on your scav, you do not get any additional rep for it. So I know what some of you are going to say, you can do co-op extracts, but I'm going to be completely honest with you, 99.9% of us are not going to risk our entire kit trying to lure a scav to the co-op extract. I think that's pretty time consuming, and it's just really not like plausible for most of us because we just get one tapped. So yes, they're possible, but it's really annoying and not a lot of us are going to go that route. So what is the #1 way to get max scav karma? Well, to start, it is car extracts on all of the maps. Now, there's been a huge nerf. I think it was kind of a couple weeks into the last wipe that they actually nerfed the car extracts. So usually on maps that have car extracts available, your first one, you would get 0.40 scav rep on your first car extract. They nerfed it. They changed it to 0.20. And that alone, that change made it so much more time consuming to get to max scav rep. So you want to do your car extracts first, in my opinion. That way, when you start grinding those scav runs, which you will have to do, once you start grinding those scav runs, you're going to have at least a little bit better gear. You're going to get some key cards. You're going to get some red flares. You're going to get some gear that you're actually going to keep rather than just straight trash. So do all the maps with the car extracts. If you don't know what those are, Customs, which is not guaranteed. Interchange, which is not guaranteed. Lighthouse, which is not guaranteed. Then Shoreline, which is new as of last wipe. If you didn't know, there's one on Shoreline, which is guaranteed every single time. So that's probably one of the ones you want to start with. Then you have Streets of Tarkov, which I believe is guaranteed, but it might be Ground Zero. It's either Ground Zero or Streets of Tarkov that is guaranteed. So I'm not exactly sure which one is the guaranteed one. Throw it in the comments down below if you do know. Then you have Woods, which is guaranteed. And then you have Ground Zero. Like I said, not sure if that one is guaranteed or not. So you want to do those until you are not getting rep to make it worth your time to do them. So the way it works right now is on your first one, you're going to get 0.2. But then on your second extract, it's going to be 0.1. And then after that, it's going to be 0.05. And then I believe, if I remember correctly, it actually drops down to 0.04. And then after that, it'll be 0.02 every single time you do a car extract. I'm going to be completely honest. I stopped once it got down to 0.05 because I like playing on my scav, especially on factory. So that means each car extract yielded me 0.3 because I did it the first and second time, and I stopped after that. Now, on some of the other maps like Woods and Shoreline and Customs, I did use a few more cars because I like playing on those maps. But Streets of Tarkov, for example, I did it twice, and that was it. So if you're like me and you only did 2 of the car extracts on each of the maps, that is going to be 0.3 rep times 7. There are 7 maps that have car extracts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to get you up to 2.10. So you still have a long way to go. You have a lot more grinding to do. Now, real quick, if you do 1 additional car extract on every single map, that'll be an extra 0.35. So that is a significant chunk if you want to grind those out. But at this point, you could probably move on to some of the other methods. All right, the next best way is actually just running your scav on factory. All you have to do is go right to the extract the moment you load up. You don't have to fight anything. You don't have to loot anything. You don't even need a survival status. You can get a run through and you will still be granted 0.01 scav rep every single raid. And combine this with your Intel Center level 3, assuming you have all the prerequisites, all of the upgrades, and the correct trader loyalty, all that stuff. Your cooldown is going to be super quick. It's going to be like in the 8-minute range. You can see right here, my scav cooldown timer is at a minus 38.15%, and I think that is slightly impacted by some of my hideout skills, but it's going to be roughly the same for you, and it's going to be near that 8-minute mark. And as your scav karma starts to increase, that will go down a couple of seconds every so often. And just to prove to you that I did a shit ton of scav raids, you can see I have 221 raids under my belt, so that would have been, what, 2.21 on the scav karma. So obviously, I'm missing some scav karma, and we're going to talk about how I got it. So one of the other options to get yourself a little bit of extra karma each and every day is doing Fence's tasks. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these tasks are damn near impossible or just completely unrealistic. And when you try to replace the task, you're going to be losing rep, which is obviously something we don't want. I'm going to be completely honest. I will never replace a task from Fence. If it's not something that I can do or it's going to be too time consuming, I simply don't worry about it. I simply don't do it. Some of these tasks are going to be paying out 0.04. Some will only pay out 0.01. It just kind of depends on the difficulty of the task and how time consuming it's going to be. But try to do these. Try and make an effort for them because it will save you a decent amount of time. Now, one other thing, if it's going to take you like 20 or 25 minutes in a scav raid to complete your task, it's probably not worth it because you got to remember, if you're on an 8-minute scav timer, you can knock out 3 factories that quick as well. So it's probably easier and more worth your time to just do the factories and ignore the task. Or if you're bored and don't want to do a factory run, then you can do that task. So we're still missing a decent bit of Fence karma. And I'm going to be completely honest, I believe with the purchase of the Unheard Edition, you do start with either a 0.25 or a 0.5 Fence rep. That certainly helped me out. Combined with the recent Tarkov Mystery event, you got a ton of Fence rep from that as well. I think it was 0.25. So right there is an extra 0.75 Fence rep combined with the 200 some raids, combined with all the car extracts, and I did do additional car extracts, not just 2 on each map, but it was 2 on the maps I really don't like, and the car extracts I don't like are Ground Zero because the PMCs are insane. We're going to have a video about that. And then Streets of Tarkov. But other maps like Shoreline, I did a bunch of car extracts. It's guaranteed. And there's a lot of loot nearby. Video on that soon as well. So, you know, there are a bunch of other things that I did do to get to my max Fence rep. But it goes by pretty quick. Put in those hours, put in some time, grind a little bit, and you will get there eventually. It is slow. It does take a while. It took me like 3 weeks to get up to the max loyalty for Fence. But once I did, it was well worth it. Not just because I was flipping shit in the max loyalty store, but because I was getting a lot of great kits on my scav. And I was getting keycard after keycard after keycard, so many red flares, and just a lot of great stuff and stuff that has a high quick sell. I was making a ton of money. It was well worth it. And then, of course, once you hit max Fence rep, it's just the bonuses are there. There's a lot of perks to hitting it. So I know I already kind of covered scav rep, but combined with the servers being down and so many new faces popping into the channel, seeing the Fence rep video and just making a shit ton of money, I figured it's just a good time to upload this video, tell you how to exactly get the scav rep instead of just kind of telling you ways to save it and not lose it. I figured it was due. It was something we needed to do because, you know, servers being down, I can't exactly go in a raid and show you a loot guide because offline is just not something we're going to do. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the video here this morning, and we should have a PMC spawn location guide coming up for Lighthouse later tonight, along with an episode of Uncut and Unheard. And that should be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. So I do appreciate all the support. We should have hit 20K today, 25K, got you in my sights, and it wouldn't be possible without you guys, man. So once again, thank you so much. Leave a like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.